Okay, and we are all ready to get started. So a few housekeeping items prior to the beginning of this webinar. If you have a question, please make sure to type it into the Q&A. And then the other thing that we like to remind everyone of is that the U.S. Small Business Administration does not endorse Public-Private Strategies Institute. This session is being live streamed and recorded, and there will be a way that you can access all of this information following this webinar. And then the third thing that we like to remind everyone of is to not share any personal information in the Q&A function at all. We are eagerly looking forward to this. So without further ado, please welcome Senior Advisor Renee Johnson.
Hello, and welcome to Building a Better America, a small business resource community, a webinar series brought to you by the U.S. Small Business Administration. Today, we're happy to discuss the community initiative and uplift with a discussion covering resources to help your businesses thrive. If we could pull the slide deck back up, we have some actual points for you to read along with us too. We're excited to have each of you here for the U.S. Small Business Administration's SBA webinar series, Building a Better America, Small Business Resource Community. Our goal today and across the series of events is to connect small businesses with critical resources and information about the Biden-Harris administration's policy agenda, including how the Inflation Reduction Act, bipartisan infrastructure laws, and American Rescue Plans create opportunities for small businesses. Prior to introducing our speakers, we would like to take this moment to thank all of our active service members and veterans for their service and sacrifice for our country. Today, we will be celebrating Veterans Day and hearing from leaders in the veteran community and resources available to veteran business owners. I have the honor of introducing Director Ray Milano first. Now, Ray Milano, currently serves as Director of the SBA's Veterans Business Outreach Center program. In this role, Ray leads a network of 22 Veterans Business Outreach Centers, which are also known as VBOCs, located throughout the United States. VBOCs are one-stop shops for veterans and military spouses looking for guidance and resources to start and grow small businesses. In its previous assignment, Ray served as Deputy Associate Administrator for the SBA's Office of Veterans Business Development, where he focused on developing and strengthening programs and policies to support veteran and military spouse-owned businesses. Ray is a graduate of Northeastern University School of Law and a United States Marine Corps veteran. Without further ado, Mr. Milano.
Right. Thanks, Renee. It's a pleasure to be here. We just celebrated National Veteran Small Business Week last week, and we're heading into Veterans Day this week, so it's a pleasure to be here. Today, I'm going to provide a little overview of the Office of Veterans Business Development through the U.S. Small Business Administration. Next slide. So the mission of the Office of Veteran Business Development is to provide counseling and training, access to capital, access to contracting opportunities, and disaster assistance to small businesses. And before I go any further, the small business provides, assistance with small business to start, grow, expand their business, whether they're in the ideation stage, all through the exit strategy. So everything in between. So if you're looking to start a business, to grow a business, you're looking to finance your business, get government contracts, you name it. If you're looking for assistance with your small business, that could be found under the SBA umbrella. The mission of the Office of Veteran Business Development is to laser focus all of the SBA program services on veterans, transitioning service members, military spouses, Guard and Reserve members, and military family members. Next slide. So who do we serve? As I just mentioned, transitioning or active duty service member, veterans of any era, National Guard and Reserve members, military spouses, and military family members. Next slide, please. And how do we do this? So the Office of Veteran Business Development, we have a strong team here in Washington, D.C., but we do it through partners and resources throughout the country. And these are just a few of our partners, which we'll talk about later, but we have 68 district offices across the country under the SBA umbrella. We have 10 SBA regional offices, And we have a veteran business development officer in each SBA district office. So on the ground, in your local community, your SBA district office, you have that connection, that veteran business development officer that is connected to all the programs and resources we're going to discuss today. Next slide, please. And I also want to talk about the SBA Resource Partner Network. The SBA, again, we think we're aware enough to know that there are some great programs and resources and organizations across the country that work with veterans and provide entrepreneurship training and technical assistance. So what we try to do is partner with these organizations across the country to make sure that veterans, military spouses, Guard and Reserve members are getting access to the resources they need in their local communities. So between our resource partners, our women business centers, our small business development centers, our SCORE mentors and advisors, our veteran business outreach centers, our district offices, our other grantees, and our community navigator grant partners through our community navigator pilot program, we have now, over 1,400 partner offices, but with community navigators, now we have almost 2,000 locations across the country with over 13,000 business advisors and navigators. So you could connect and find those local programs and resources. Next slide, please. So focusing on the Veteran Business Outreach Centers, as Renee mentioned, Veteran Business Outreach Centers are one-stop shops to assist you with connecting with the local resources and programs to start or grow your business. But bottom line, the VBOCs, or the Veteran Business Outreach Centers, are there to help you take advantage of the SBA programs and resources, and also take advantage of the other programs and resources within your local area. We have 22 VBOCs across the country. They cover all states and US territories. And one of the key things that the VBOCs do, although they do provide training, they provide counseling, they work one-on-one, we try to make sure we meet you where you are. So we provide training and counseling virtually, in person. We also provide counseling in person, online, on the phone, via email. So we want to make sure that we're available, but also you're comfortable with accessing our services wherever you may be and whichever way works best for you. But the other key, go back one slide, please. The other key component is navigation and referrals. We know we can't do it alone. Entrepreneurship is a team sport. Starting a business and growing a business is a team sport, but also assisting small businesses is a team sport. And we work together to make sure that you're connected to the local programs and resources. So if the VBOC is not the right location, the VBOC can help you navigate to the local or national program that is the best resource for you. Next slide, please. So this slide kind of talks about the collaboration of the Veteran Business Outreach Centers. We work with all the SBA district offices. We work with financial institutions within their communities. We work with local community and partner organizations. And we also work with the SBA Resource Partner and Community Navigator Network. So all of us working together, we're there to make that net. So nobody can fall through a tight net. So when we get referred to, or we refer out to our resource partners, you're getting access to the resources you need when you need it. Next slide. A couple other programs under the Office of Veterans Business Development are the Boots to Business and Boots to Business Reboot program. Boots to Business and Boots to Business Reboot are introduction to entrepreneurship training programs. It's an introduction to the basic skills and steps that need to be on your radar screen to start and grow a business. And most importantly, how to connect with the resources to help you move forward if you make that decision to start that business. So Boots to Business is located on military installations and is directly related to the Transition Assistance Program through the Department of Defense. So these are on installation through the TAP program and targeted to transitioning service members and military spouses. Boots to Business Reboot is the same program, but off installation for prior service veterans, Guard and Reserve, military spouses, and military family members. Next slide, please. We also have options for Boots to Business graduates. So once you graduate a Boots to Business or Boots to Business Reboot program, you connect to local SBA resources, community resources, et cetera. But we also have a virtual online revenue readiness program. Again, as it states, it's a 6-week virtual training program help you to take that business idea from concept to business plan, kind of a feasibility analysis. We also have the SBA Learning Center. SBA Learning Center is comprised of on-demand courses and resources that you could take through the SBA Learning Center. Next page. A couple of the partners we work with across the country are the Women Veterans Entrepreneurship Training Program. This program is focused on women veterans and women spouses. We have 3 organizations we work with: the Institute for Veterans and Military Families in Syracuse, New York, Lift Fund, based out of San Antonio, Texas, and Onabem, based in Oregon. Next slide. Our Service Disabled Veteran Entrepreneurship Training Program is focused on service disabled veterans. So we work with Warrior Rising in Utah, the Veteran Entrepreneurship Program in Oklahoma, the Veteran Entrepreneurship Training and Resource Network in Massachusetts, and the VEJ program, the Entrepreneurship Bootcamp for Veterans in St. Joseph University. Next page. Finally, the Veteran Federal Procurement Entrepreneurship Training Program is a grant we work with the National Center for Veteran Institute for Procurement, and they work with helping veteran-owned small businesses start, grow, and expand their business through federal contracting. So this is a program that if you're looking to get into the federal contracting space and get involved in federal contracting, or you're already in the space and you're looking to expand and grow your business, the VIP program can assist you with that. They're based out of Maryland. Next page. And finally, I wanted to talk a little bit about the CVE transfer to the Veteran Small Business Certification Program. So as many of you have heard over the last several months, the SBA will be assuming the CVE, Center for Verification and Evaluation, from the VA. So SBA will have a certification program for veteran-owned small businesses. This transition is scheduled to happen January 1st, 2023. It's currently in process of development, and we're waiting for the final rule to be approved. But if you're looking for updates and you want more information on the CVE transfer to the Veteran Small Business Certification Program, you could go to the link on this slide or go to cvetransfer@sba.gov. Next slide. You can find more information on the Office of Veterans Business Development and links to all of the resources and programs I spoke about today at the link www.sba.gov/OVBD. You can also reach out to me directly via email, phone, or text, and I'll get you connected with the local resources in your area. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you, Director Milano. There's a lot of information you provided to everyone here. Want to go back to where you were talking about the VBOCs. You mentioned there are a lot of them, and I know a lot of people want to know, how can people find out where they're located and how can they access them?
Great question. So again, we have 22 VBOCs across the country. You could find your local VBOC by going to the OVBD website, which I just mentioned, or go directly to sba.gov/VBOC. That'll list all the VBOCs, the contact information, and links directly to their website. And I should say that everybody and anybody is eligible for VBOC assistance. So even though we focus on veterans, military spouses, transitioning service members, Guard and Reserve, and military family members, you don't have to present an ID at the door. We don't need a copy of DD-214. You walk in and you're eligible for VBOC services. So find your local VBOC and we'll be there to assist.
Okay, so that answers sort of my next question, because this is about, veterans, and we're, celebrating Veterans Day. I was going to ask, how does one show proof to use services? And it sounds like you do not actually have to be a veteran in order to use services. Is that correct?
Correct. You could be a military family member, a military spouse, but we're under the SBA umbrella. So SBA serves all small businesses and entrepreneurs across the country. So you're not going to be turned away at the door. You know, SBA does have specific certification programs and loan programs that are focused on veterans and military spouses. That's when you'll need proof of ID and proof of status. But as far as working with the VBOC for training and counseling, leave your ID at home.
Oh, well, that's good, because sometimes it's hard to remember to take your ID with you.
Yeah, there you go.
And so you mentioned also that BBOCs or BBOCs are one-stop shops for veterans and military spouses, families who are looking for guidance and resources to start and grow their businesses. Can you provide some details on like what are those services? Like, are there legal counseling? Is there, you know, some sort of financial assistance? Like, what kind of services do you guys provide in details?
Of course. So VBOCs provide a wide range of services, whether you have an idea you're looking to turn into a business, a hobby you're looking to turn into a business, whether you're in business and you're looking for access to capital. You know, the VBOCs have relationships with the local SBA district offices and local lenders. So we know which lenders are lending to startups. We know which lenders are lending to certain industries and how much they're lending, whether they're lending to certain franchises. A lot of veterans are looking to get into federal or state contracting. We have relationships with local district offices and subject matter experts to help you with your capability statements, to help you, you know, with the SBA district office to get your certifications, whether it's woman-owned small business, 8A minority-owned small business, hub-zone business, a veteran-owned small business. So access to capital, government contracting, marketing and social media. We have subject matter experts to help you with your marketing, whether you're looking to take on new customers or, you know, pivot to a new customer base, to help you with your website. So you name it, the VBOCs could connect you directly, or they'll provide that assistance in-house.
Wow, so much great information. And just letting everybody know who's watching that we are going to provide the slides to everyone who is signed up for the webinar. So we will email them out to you, so you will have a copy of them, and you'll be able to click the links and also be able to email Director Milano as well. And as you said, text people too. So you'll be able to text people because I'm pretty sure everyone is excited to get your number and connect with you. But before you go, do you have any parting words or wisdom that you want to give our small business owners today?
Yeah, I'd add, you know, ask for help. You know, we know for entrepreneurs and veterans, sometimes it's hard to ask for help. And, you know, that's the key. So take that step, ask for help, connect with your local district office, VBOC, or other resource partner, and we're on your team. All you have to do is reach out. Again, entrepreneurship is a team sport. You cannot do it by yourself. So we're already on your team. I should add that most of our programs, if not all, are no cost. You know, we do have some costs for minimal cost for some training programs, but all our counseling and most of our training programs are at no cost to you. You could take all the training programs you want. You could meet with a counselor once a day if you want to. So ask for help. We're there to assist. And, you know, I do want to set up our next guest. You know, one of our partners is the Disabled American Veterans Team. You know, they have Patriot Boot Camp, which we refer people to all the time. The VBOCs are plugged in and work with the Patriot Boot Camp team. So take advantage of Patriot Boot Camp and DAV.
Well, thank you so much, Director Milano. We're excited to have you, and we thank you so much for your service and all that you do for veteran small businesses. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, now we are going to turn to Dan Clare. Dan Clare is a Marine veteran who is a Marine veteran of the Persian Gulf era and an Air Force veteran of the war in Iraq. He served with DAV, Disabled American Veterans, for 18 years. As the charity's Chief Communications and Outreach Officer, Dan provides strategic direction and oversight of DAV's overarching communications and branding efforts. He also leads DAV's Patriot Boot Camp, a program that empowers founders in the veteran and military connected community to succeed as entrepreneurs through events and resources. He represents DAV on the SBA's Advisory Committee on Veterans Business Affairs. And without further ado, the amazing Mr. Clare.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks, Ray. Happy early birthday to you and to all our fellow Marines out there. and happy Veterans Day week to everyone. DAV is fairly new to the entrepreneurship space, but I kind of want to just go back and talk about DAV and kind of where we're coming from as an organization. DAV is about 100 years old, and our slogan is keeping our promise to America's veterans. And when you kind of back out of that and think about what that really means, I think of some of the comparisons people make to the blank check that someone signs for their country, or someone put it a little bit differently. They said it's kind of a rental car agreement that you have with the people you serve. It's really hard to find people who are qualified to serve in the military today. We see stories about that. And that's a challenge that America's faced for a while, because it's hard to get in the military. It's hard to have the physical, mental qualifications to do that. And the military takes a lot of time to make sure that you meet those qualifications before you join the military, because we have an agreement with people we serve who serve in our military. And that agreement is that we will make you whole if you are changed as a result of your service. So for DAV, that's the promise. That's kind of the sacred pledge. And we've been doing that in a lot of different ways over the past 100 years. Primarily, we've been doing that by helping veterans with their benefits, making sure that they get the benefits they earned in service through their sacrifices with the Department of Veterans Affairs. And we do that throughout the country in VA regional offices. We represent veterans. All these services that we offer are free of charge. No obligation. You don't have to join or do anything to receive those. But DAV has been doing that for the longest time. That's our major program. We help veterans receive more than $20 billion in benefits a year, the folks we represent. And we're at any given time, we're helping veterans over the course of a year with 150,000 claims for benefits. So that's been our primary focus. But over time, we started looking a little bit more deeply about our mission and how we're approaching our mission. We're an old organization, but we know we need to stay agile. So DAV really waded into the employment arena 6 or 7 years ago. We started an employment department. Now we help. We're actually one of the largest charities connecting veterans with employers, and it taught us something about kind of that goes with our topics today, that we can't do it alone, and there's not a single government solution. There's not a single government program. And DAV, I think for a long time, we looked at and we said, how can we make sure that the government programs are effective and advocate for changes to benefits, to healthcare, to the way we treat people who are disabled looking for jobs, to the way that we connect them with resources if they want to start a business. So we start this employment department, and we start to realize too, we're a big volunteer organization. Voluntary services is really important to us. So we're working all the time to connect veterans with healthcare through our transportation network, providing hundreds of thousands of rides a year to make sure veterans are able to get the care that they earned. And that was good, but we also saw that we could make a huge impact if we worked with corporations, worked with the private sector, to create partnerships that would where we could go in and do volunteer work and make a difference. So once again, we found these public-private partnerships are very helpful. We work with the VA, the Department of Veterans Affairs, on 2 adaptive sports programs, and there too, we turn to private organizations, and we get volunteers, we get funds from them. And we're able to do amazing things with our National Disabled Veterans Winter Sports Clinic and our National Disabled Veterans Golf Clinic. One's in Colorado, one's in Iowa. I'll let you guess which one's which. But DAV, we've done that. And along the work we were doing in employment, we came across some of the great programs that were out there. IVMF was mentioned earlier, and DAV's partnered with IVMF for many years now. To help them with their entrepreneurship boot camp for veterans. We became familiar with Patriot Boot Camp several years ago. And since then, we worked with them going into the pandemic. We were sponsoring one of their events. We had a conversation with their team, and we decided, what if this were a DAV program? What if Patriot Boot Camp, who For a smaller charity, you have challenges with funding year after year. What if the infrastructure of DAV was behind this entity and this effort? So this year, working with their team, their board is now all engaged with DAV as members of a National Veterans Entrepreneurship Council, and we're working together with Patriot Bootcamp as a acquired program for DAV. We've had 2 events this year, and these events are great. SBA they're in it for you for the long haul. The SBA does a fantastic job providing resources, and they have great partnerships around the country. SBA is incredibly agile, and we're grateful too that the SBA really loops in the veterans community and seeks our input, and we are grateful for our collaboration with SBA. But taking over Patriot Bootcamp this year, we've had 2 events. One was an alumni event, which was kind of an accelerator event for people who had already gone through DAV Patriot Bootcamp. We held that one here at DAV National Headquarters near Cincinnati. And we saw right away that this was a very different kind of program, where DAV in the past has advocated for government solutions to many of the challenges we face, and we couldn't do it without those solutions. We could not keep the promise without our partnership with the government. But we also recognize that instead of just making sure veterans get justice and achieve and get the benefits they earned, what if we could turn them into job creators? What if we could turn them into benefits providers? And that's what we saw in Patriot Bootcamp from the start. We just finished our first actually DAV original or DAV unique program, helping veterans connect we had 46 veterans as part of a cohort here at National Headquarters, went through an intensive 3-day program, and it was immersive. We talked about the challenges that are unique to veterans, that veterans face in business, where they're not traditional, they're not your traditional entrepreneurs all the time, especially in the tech space. And Patriot Bootcamp's definitely more tech focused. But we found if you can help veterans, if you can make business accessible to them, their resilience, their creativity is incredible. So we have these people who are doing great work, 46 at National Headquarters. We try and complement them with as many mentors as there are individual participants. And as a result, we're able to get, almost every participant sees 8 hours of mentorship. So we're always looking, put in a little plug for people to help us out with that as being mentors. We have another program coming up in February. Like I said, they're intensive programs. We look at the areas where people are limited: legal assistance, funding assistance, scaling. We look at these different areas, and we bring in subject matter experts who are able to work with folks and give them the information, give them the direction and network that they need to succeed. So these cohorts kind of become a community of their own. We've helped over 1,000 veterans. Over the life of the program, 1,000 veterans and spouses have been served through the program. So it's been an exciting ride for us. And we want more people to know about the program, and we want more people to participate in the program. And we want to make sure that veterans are getting their benefits. So if there's anything we can do for the folks who are serving, who are on this, please let us know. We're grateful for Patriot Bootcamp. We have another event coming up in February, and applications are open for that right as we speak. So we're excited to do that. Renee, is that enough information? Is there anything more I can say?
No, that was great. And I only came on because I thought you were coming to the Q&A portion.
Sure.
And so that's where I was going to ask a couple of quick questions for you.
Sure.
So I know people want to know more, because there's always more people want to know, right?
Right.
And one of those things would be, you are the Chief Communications and Outreach Officer for DOV, and they want to know what are some ways that those who are disabled veterans who are seeking assistance or having a difficult time connecting to services, how can they reach out to you, or why would they reach out to you? What would you be able to do to help support them?
There's a lot of services there, and in addition to the services we offer volunteer opportunities. DAV has 1 million members across the country, and you can join DAV. You certainly don't have to. That's something that you can do. You don't have to join to receive any services. When it comes to claims for benefits, we kind of have a shortcut URL called benefitsquestions.org. And you can go on there, and through a locator, you can find a service officer who's been through this process themselves, who've helped veterans with their claims, and who is a veteran themselves who've gone through that, and they'll help you with your benefits. When it comes to Patriot Bootcamp has its own website. If you go to patriotbootcamp.org, you can apply to participate in that program today. If you're interested in being a mentor, we would love that too. You can send us a query on info@patriotbootcamp.org. And if you email us, we'll put you in the database and make sure we keep you in the loop. We are looking for people who have very, very specific skills. So it's legal assistance is something that people always want. But we like it, if possible, to have attorneys who have specific experience working with small businesses, who have experience in mergers and acquisitions, and who can provide that type of advice or guidance for folks. But there's other areas too, marketing, scaling, there's a wide range of different skills, but we want to make sure that the folks we put in front of these veterans are going to have a good match and have a productive mentorship session. And those sessions often last well beyond the scope of the event.
No, that's amazing. And good to know that legal services are something that you guys are looking to find more people to become involved with, because there are people who really need that and are able to provide that pro bono as well. So thank you for putting that out there. So if there's people, make sure you connect with DAV about that. What are some ways that our amazing veterans that are listening today who are watching should reach out to your office, who may be, disabled, but just are a little nervous, right? They're hesitant. They're not really sure, like, what's the first step? Like, what should they ask? Like, they don't know. They know that they need assistance. They know that they're, going through difficult times. They're having, not good luck, maneuvering different organizations, but they just don't know what to ask. Sometimes it's hard to say, I need help, but it's also say, I don't know what I need help with. So what kind of advice would you like to give or provide for some of our veterans today?
Well, the first thing I would say is we're going into the holidays, and a lot of veterans, we have a history. When you join the military, you're going to give up some Christmases, you're going to give up some Hanukkahs, you're going to give up a lot of the time that you normally spend with family. Compounding that, I spent the holidays in Iraq one year, and it's not where I definitely wanted to be for Thanksgiving and Christmas. If you're dealing with a crisis, really encourage everyone to reach out to the Veterans Crisis Line, 988, and press 1, or you can text them at 838-255. And that's just important for everyone to know. If you're in a crisis, I'd rather you not call DAV right away. I'd rather you get help with your immediate situation. Beyond that, you can reach out to us through dav.org. You can reach out to a service officer to talk about your benefits. Sometimes people are being represented somewhere and they don't know if they're getting the best advice sometimes, and they can reach out to us. In those cases, we usually encourage people to try and stick with, if you have a power of attorney, trying to stick with the people you're working with, if it's going to interrupt your flow of justice. I think veterans sometimes they're discouraged because when it comes to benefits, they have to ask. And that's hard for a lot of veterans to do. We're strong people. You come from a Navy family. we're not used to being vulnerable in that way. And sometimes people, I think, are hesitant to seek the benefits they've earned because they look at that and they say, well, this individual over here lost a limb in service, and all I got was exposure to burn pits. Well, it's really about that promise, and you're not shortchanging another veteran if you need help. And I would just encourage, if whether it's benefitsquestions.org or even going to a local DAV chapter, if you need someone to talk to, if you need some purpose or a mission, if you want to volunteer, those are great ways to get involved.
No, thank you for that. And then our last question for you, because we can just sit here all day and just ask you so many questions, is if there's a veteran out there who just doesn't feel like they're being heard or unable to connect, what suggestion would you have for them?
Well, it is hard. I mean, when you leave the service, you go from having a community, having a culture that's very defined, a very rigid structure. Your how you interact with housing and with how your food. I mean, everything is treated a little bit differently. And then when people get out, sometimes they feel a disconnect with resources. And in those cases, I mean, one message I would have is seeing this through Patriot Boot Camp and the people who SBA works with all the time, especially the veterans SBA works with. You have incredible potential. And whether or not you've been in a difficult place for a while, your mental health is it's your responsibility as well as our responsibility if you were changed in service. But you have to take care of yourself, and you have to reach out and ask for help, or the people around you don't know you need it. So I would encourage people to reach out to DAV. If you're wanting to start a business, whether it's DAV, Patriot Boot Camp, SBA, or any of the other programs you have there, you don't have to be, you don't have to be on your way to your first $1 million before you get that, reach out for that help. SBA is going to help you from the on-ramp on, and DAV is going to be there for you as well. So I just encourage people to take the effort, take the initiative, reach out and take care of yourself.
Great advice, especially during this time of year. Take care of yourself. And we really appreciate that, Mr. Clare. We appreciate you and the amazing work that you do and the service you gave to our country. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we can't wait to have you on again.
Thank you, Renee. I look forward to coming on again. And thank you, SBA. I mean, SBA is an incredibly agile agency, and I'm a huge fan, and I'm just blown away getting to work with your team members, of just how much people really care about veterans and care about the people you help, and just you do it in a special way. So thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go on now to the rest of our program here, and we're going to talk about additional resources and information from the Inflation Reduction Act, Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, the American Rescue Plan, and Made in America, and then a quick COVID update. And just a FYI, yes, we're going to send this presentation out to everyone. So please do not worry. You're going to get not only the video, but this slide deck, PowerPoint presentation as well. So you'll have all the links, you'll have all the emails and phone numbers that are associated with it as well. So let's go to the next slide. So the Inflation Reduction Act, on Tuesday, August 16, 2022, President Biden signed into law the Inflation Reduction Act, the IRA, which lower costs for small businesses and working families by making healthcare more affordable, leveling the tax playing field for small businesses versus large corporations, and then also reducing the deficit to combat the climate crisis. The Inflation Reduction Act also focused on taxes. And one of the major things that people were focused on was the IRA will not raise taxes on the vast majority of businesses which are working families, or working families. This law is not funded in any way by personal tax increases on small businesses or working families making under $400,000, which is roughly 98% of all Americans. Additionally, the IRA doubles the refundable research development tax credit for small businesses, raising it from $250,000 to $500,000. The credit can be applied against payroll taxes and a wide variety of expenses, including product development and technology. It increased funding for the IRS, which will not be used to target small businesses or working families. The IRS will not use this money to impact small businesses that are under $400,000. So this is only going to be used to ensure that they are being able to upgrade their processes and focus on areas of challenges. And that's going to be on areas such as large corporate and global high net wealth taxpayers, pass-through entities, and multinational taxpayers. Let's go on to the next slide. So within healthcare, the IRA will make prescription drugs more affordable without hurting innovation. A recent survey found that more than 80% of small business owners support allowing Medicare to negotiate prescription drug prices, capping out-of-pocket costs for seniors at $2,000 and ensuring Affordable Care Act premiums are affordable for families and their businesses. The IRA will provide a 3-year extension through 2025 of enhanced subsidies for small business owners who are buying their own health insurance coverage through the Affordable Care Act marketplaces. This allows the Medicare to start negotiating the price of some prescription drug prices beginning in 2026 and caps Medicare Part D out-of-pocket costs in 2025. Let's go on to the next slide. Now we're going to talk about the bipartisan infrastructure law. So on November 15th, 2021, President Biden signed into law the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. This was a historic investment of $550 billion in new funds for large infrastructure projects, supply chains, broadband, and drinking water. This is the largest investment in the nation's infrastructure since 1956. This includes $55 billion in projects to deliver clean water, $65 billion to expand the country's broadband, $110 billion to repair and rebuild the country's crumbling roadways, and $90 billion in modernizing public transportation. This has a huge impact to small businesses as it will touch virtually every part of Main Street and its economy. This law will expand access to tens of billions of dollars to federal, state, and local government contracts. The U.S. Department of Transportation is expected to award more than $37 billion in federal contracts. This is supposed to support an estimated 700,000 jobs per year. It's supposed to help small businesses hire new employees and reach new customers, and then also foster the development of Main Street small businesses and underserved communities. You can find out more through the guidebook by going to build.gov website. Now, the American Rescue Plan. In 2021, Congress passed the American Rescue Plan, also known as ARP, and CARES Act. This was focused on helping small businesses and consumers. It was to support communities that were struggling in the wake of COVID-19, and the plan provided critical support to these communities. It provided emergency grants, lending, and investment to hard-hit small businesses so that they can hire, rehire, and retain workers, distribute more than $360 billion in emergency funding for state, local, and territorial and tribal governments, and then help hard-hit public transit agencies avoid layoffs and service reductions, which disproportionately harm workers who are more likely to depend on public transportation. The ARP also created the Community Navigator pilot program, which Director Milano talked about earlier. This program, designed to reduce barriers that underrepresented and underserved entrepreneurs often face in assessing the programs they need to recover, grow, or start their businesses. This is a total of $100 million in funding to 51 organizations across the country. It's selected projects that will cover diverse communities, and it's again throughout the US, including Puerto Rico. Grants will serve as hubs, centralized lead organizations, which will incorporate spokes organizations that have built to trust in their local communities. They connect small businesses to critical resources and assistance, which include financial assistance, access to capital, contracting and procurement, marketing operations, business development, and exporting, and even industry-specific training. Let's go to the next slide. And now we're going to talk about a tax incentive called Paid Family Leave Tax Incentive. Under the program, employers can offer up to 12 weeks of paid family leave. Leave can be used to take care of a family member, maternity, paternity leave with biological or adopted children. In exchange for offering the leave, employers will receive as much as 25% tax credit for the amount of wages replaced. Policy is targeted to hourly employees who would not otherwise have access to paid family leave. Employees who participate cannot make more than $72,000 per year. And now we're going to talk about Made in America. Now, this is to ensure that the future is made in America by all America workers. This is launched of a whole of government initiative to strengthen the use of federal procurement to support American manufacturing. The Made in America office works to implement federal procurement and financial management policy to help carry out the president's vision of a future in all of America by all of American workers, including minority entrepreneurs and small businesses in every region of our country. To learn more information, go to madeinamerica.gov to find out more about this program. You also can find out more by going to the US Small Business Administration and becoming a federal contractor, sam.gov to register your business, and the GSA website as well. Now, a few quick updates about what you should know about COVID-19. What small business leaders can do? Well, getting vaccinated and booster shots. If you're already vaccinated, we're encouraging your employees, family, friends, and neighbors to get vaccinated as well. Creating a vaccination plan for your business, reviewing state and local vaccine policies, seek legal advice, consider incentives like the paid leave tax credit we just discussed. So if employees need time to recover from side effects, they're able to do so. Whether you encourage, incentivize, or mandate vaccines, communicate the plan with your employees, both verbally or in writing. Continue to follow the Center for Disease Control and Prevention guidance on wearing masks and social distancing, even after all your employees are vaccinated. And then we have two amazing links for you to use. One is for the Center for Disease Control and Prevention toolkits, and then the campaign resources and toolkits called We Can Do This with HHS.gov. And additionally, you can learn more by going to the whitehouse.gov/COVID plan for up-to-date information about COVID. And with that, we are done with today's webinar and super excited for next week's. So if you have any questions about today's, please feel free to give us an email at events@publicprivatestrategies.com. And if you have an SBA related question, go to answerdesk@sba.gov. And with that, like I mentioned a few seconds ago, we will be having another webinar next week. More information will be provided, but it will be about the bipartisan infrastructure law and how it can help your business. So with that, look forward to seeing you all next week and hope you all have a great Veterans Day. Thank you so much.